I'm Gerry Schwebel. I'm Executive Vice President for International Bank of Commerce, IBC Bank.
And Gerry, we're here at a big transportation event here in Brownsville, and the key point that you wanted to make to all of these stakeholders that were here, particularly the mayors, is they should really study a document that TxDOT's put out, correct?
That's correct. Actually, from TxDOT's point of view, region to region, region is border region. And for me, a region of like El Paso to a region down to Brownsville. The whole border region has a major stake in the mobility of all of this commerce as well. A lot of people think it's all flowing up, it's just up north and south, but we have to look at east and west as well. From our standpoint in Texas, we move from our maritime ports, Gulf ports like Houston, Corpus Christi, and Brownsville, and it'll filter up north, but it's also filtering up west and it's filtering up east. But for those of us in Texas, the border region, we've been saying this, that the border region also has a major stake in how it moves between ports like Brownsville and ports like El Paso and along the line there all the way down from you name it, from Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Laredo, down to the Valley, RGV, McAllen, Mission, and down to Brownsville, and let's face it, even cities like Presidio have a major stake in this thing as ports, because the planning of that mobility east and west is just as important as the north and south.
And you think at the moment that's not getting enough attention?
Well, I think people need to be informed. I think that's what the beauty about these TxDOT studies is revealing. It's revealing what some of us that live on the border have been saying to TxDOT for a long time. Look at what's going on right now. We live it every day. That's why we're here having this discussion, and I think these studies are proving that it's important that we do the prudent planning on how things move within the border, and then look at the Mexican side of the border as well. What is Mexico doing in their planning of their mobility east and west, up and down the Texas-Mexico border as well? Because it may not, from their standpoint, they're also looking from their connectivity from their seaports on their west coast to the east coast as well. So it's all connect. The beauty about it is that it's all connecting to our 28 ports in Texas, but we need to have that sound, prudent planning on both sides of the border.
More than once today, the chair here today, our Secretary of State, Jane Nelson, said, good point, Gerry, good point, Gerry. She was congratulating you, and you probably made more points than any of the other stakeholders outside of Texas, outside of TxDOT. So what were the key points you wanted to get across to this audience?
Well, there was a number of points. Number one, I think not just the mobility, but how do we plan within our communities the parking scenarios of our commercial trucks, and then we also need to look at private sector involvement in these projects. We're looking at the safety aspect, the security aspect, where there's sound discussion and coordination with our first responders and our law enforcement folks and the industry, especially our truck carriers, and how those trucks move within our communities that are growing every day with new residences and new rooftops and our population growth. If we don't work together as communities and share with each other our experiences up and down the border, which is the first line of commerce, north or south, then we're really shortchanging ourselves. So we need to focus our attention in getting our mayors and our county judges up and down the whole border region to prove that, make sure that we're all talking to each other and sharing with each other those ideas, but at the same time allowing the Mexican side of the border to say, how can we be part of that same discussion? They're just as hungry to do the planning as we are. And that'll be the most efficient border, dialogue and discussions, and we could plan that growth of trade that we all have been working on for so many years.
You must have been pleased with the presentation of the TxDOT FAR District engineer, Pete Alvarez, when he said more investment more focus needs to be in this region.
One of the best things that we have, on the border is that we have 3 district engineers that are being heard and listened to by the commissioners, and that's great. And we're very fortunate to have that You know, and I mean, it's exciting to see how we're working together. You know, the Laredo district, the FAR district, the El Paso district, but those district engineers are key players, and we really commend the vision of TxDOT for allowing those engineers to have a major say in all of this planning.
Anything else you'd like to add, Gerry?
I just think it's great to have dialogue between the private sector and the public sector of Texas working together. You know, we can get a lot accomplished. You know, it's exciting times. If it's all good, you know, and we change the rhetoric from whatever negativity is there about the border to all the positive things that are going on the border.
Thank you so much for today's interview.
Thank you.